Welcome to Brand You,
the ultimate personal branding podcast.
I'm Kaz Grant.
And I'm Toby Lee.
Together, we're here to help demystify personal branding
and to make it accessible and effective for everyone.
Follow along as we guide you through creating your own personal branding journeys.
So, let's get started.
Let's brand you. Hi everybody and welcome back to the Brand You podcast, proudly sponsored by Spark House. So I'm very excited for today's episode and it's the first in season 3 of the Brand New podcast. So today we're going to be jumping into behind the brand and we're going to be looking at Toby's personal brand. So we're going to be sharing some juicy behind the scenes of what it takes for Toby to create the personal brand that he does and to put himself out there. You're in the spotlight.
I think the interesting bit for me with this is because I've just recently gone through a rebrand.
Yeah.
New logo, new website, new look and feel to everything. And I think what's nice is to kind of demonstrate for those that are listening and building their own personal brand that it is like a constant journey.
Yeah.
It needs constant assessment of what's working, what's not working, and you just keep tweaking things. So I think there's going to be quite a lot to kind of dive into and break down, I think.
Yeah, and that's exciting, isn't it? So what, I guess, started you off on thinking you needed a rebrand?
Yeah, so there were certainly challenges with, I built my website for years. Like I've always done my own thing. God knows how many times and how many hours I've spent or waking up in the middle of the night going, I've got an idea, I'm going to go play with it now because I had it access to do so. And I think I did an all right job up to a certain point. But when it came to realizing that actually my personal brand was really strong in terms of me going to networking, me getting myself out there on social media and using LinkedIn and doing everything I physically could, but my website wasn't bringing anything in. Like it didn't have the personality there, or it didn't align with my personal brand or what it's like to meet me. Yeah. So it just wasn't really working for me. It wasn't bringing anything in. So that was the main challenge. But yeah, certainly from that, if I was looking sort of holistically at my personal brand, it was a case of going, everything I put my efforts into is producing something. But if I can't get to a network meeting because I'm busy with projects, suddenly that level of conversation or the amount of conversation I'm having drops down a little bit. So it was trying to find a way of keeping all those plates spinning and what else needs reviewing, and the website and that kind of overview, bringing everything in line was the first part.
Was it kind of scary because like so you've had that full control over like everything up until your business, up until that point, and now you've got to hand over like a little bit of your baby to somebody else to have a rethink, and was that quite scary? Or
I can see how it could be scary for people, but the reason it wasn't for me was I had full trust in the people I was working with. So I was working with Matt and Eleanor at Number 75 Design, and they're a Lincoln-based design and creative agency, and they help brilliant businesses, sole traders, inject like personality into their branding. So I knew that was exactly what I needed, and so they were the right guys for the job. And having worked with them on sort of photo shoots and things in the past, like I knew that they understood me massively, and then therefore how to like put me forward at the front of everything. So yeah, it wasn't sort of scary for me, but I can kind of see how some people would be like, oh god. And I think it was more, I was excited to have someone else input, because every decision I make on my business is me, looking at every possible option, trying to weigh up which one the right one is time and time again. So it's actually quite nice to go, you know what? Just let me know what you come up with, and we'll go from there. And yeah, I'm really pleased with where it's gone.
And that's all collaborative as well, isn't it? So it's
Yeah.
not like they then go, oh, this and that is it, and that's what you're having.
No.
So you've still got options to play around with it and tweak it, which is quite cool. And like you say, I've seen so much work that they've done in the local, and I love everything that they produce. It's great. So there's that trust there already.
Yeah.
But also that trust because of their personal brands as well and what they put out to the world.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt, not so much, but Eleanor definitely shares so much of herself and things that she's doing and things that they're working on product behind the scenes that again it puts you at ease straight away with working with them, and they're such lovely people. They're so much fun.
I think that they've got a good way of sharing the way they work and why they do things. And I think if you're then a potential client looking to make a decision to go and work with them, you've already seen that process. And I think that's kind of something that I really try to do with my social media, and that is use it as an opportunity to go, this is what a photo shoot looks like, or here's me on a video shoot, this is what it looks like to do this, so that it's not too overwhelming. It becomes something that you can talk about and approach me about.
You did one the other day that I really liked, a video where it was quite scary start, and you were like stepping into a photography studio is really scary. And then you're like, no, it's not, guys, go on. And then you showed everybody again into your space, into your world. And it's you talking and fiddling around with equipment and showing everything. But again, it's like, it puts people at ease so much. It's so good.
And I think that's something like we can all be doing. It's going to be different for every business and different depending what the industry you're in. But, we've talked previously about working out, your target audience and what it is they need to know. And if you start working back from there, suddenly content becomes quite easy and approachable. Video work is a huge part of or video content, I should say, is a huge part of my brand now. The people are resonating with and kind of know me for. To the point where I've had a few comments now where I've met people for the first time in person, and they've looked me up and down and gone, "You're taller than I thought you were." I've had it twice now, and I thought, what an interesting remark. Because how are you supposed to know from a video how tall someone is? You don't look at the telly and go, "I bet they're a tall person."
So it's really interesting when you say when people meet you, then they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're so much taller than in real life." Because again, I've got comments like that before as well. When we're following people online and we're seeing people online all the time, and we've got that kind of connection with them, or we think we do, when you do meet them in person, there are subtle little differences that you can't quite showcase on video, and it doesn't matter, but it's just that when you meet in person again, it's how it just builds that connection even stronger, doesn't it? And brings someone to life even more. You can only do so much to bring it all to life online, but actually having the online and then in person if you can, it's just that cements everything.
I think when we meet someone or come across someone, so we've not physically met them, but we'll come across them online, your brain instantly makes an image on how you think they might speak, how you think they might look. If it's just a headshot, we've already imagined what they might look like standard next to. And so any information you can put out as your personal brand is just filling in those gaps and making that picture clearer for people. So that's why I always try and do video content where I can. Often I think I've got this lovely piece of value I should share. I start typing a post and I think, well, hang on, I'm missing an opportunity here. I've got the cameras. I can quickly, hit record and actually share this value to the camera in a video. And actually that's another opportunity to get my face in front of people, and really create that feeling that you know me and that you might have met me before. And I think that certainly helps when I do go to networking meetings and people sort of come and approach me, and because they've seen content and they've got that familiarity, I think that's important, isn't it?
Yeah. Definitely opens up the doors to conversations in so many ways. What I love about what you just said then as well is it was almost like you don't overthink the stuff. So you're not again, perfectly curating some of your personal branding content at the moment. It's literally you're in the studio, you're putting some equipment away, you're moving something, you get an idea sparks up in your head, and then you think, let me film quickly a snippet of doing this or some value to my audience. And again, I think people can stop themselves so much because they overthink that they need to have the setup that we've got set up today. You know, you need to have the studio lighting and the perfect backdrop and the perfect thing. This is different. This is a podcast. We have got it set up very differently. But as me and you are going about our daily lives, we're also recording that. Is it B-roll?
Yeah.
The kind of B-roll footage type thing that is just on the spot. It's just then and there. It's our thoughts. It's our things. And again, I think people underestimate that and could be doing so much more of that because it's so good time-wise.
Yeah. And then that B-roll is your kind of safety net, because when you do record stuff to camera, you can drop those clips in, and then that masks any bits where you've cut out and edited where you've messed up. You know, that's the main reason I use it. You know, it's not one clean take and it's not all done in one shot. You know I've got the editing capabilities to edit things quickly, and it's not a hassle for me, whereas for someone who's not done that before and hasn't got that experience, it's going to be quite daunting. I appreciate that, but there are tools out there. We've talked about video editing in past episodes that, you know, if you make it as easy as possible for yourself, you know, it doesn't have to be a daunting thing. And I've just found it's a really powerful tool for my personal brand, and probably one that's expected when I offer video production as a service. I offer decent photography, so I've got to have good visuals. You know, I've got to have effective visuals.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? It's utilising the skills that you have based off of also what people are expecting from you as well. Like, how professional do you need things to be, really? Not how you expect it to need to be, but how professional do you need it to be? Yes, for you, if you created a rubbish video or a rubbish photography or whatever, then people would be like, I thought you're a photographer. But for me, if I created a bit of a, you know, if I'm doing a video in a oneer and I do say some ums and some ahs and I haven't edited it perfectly, that's fine. I'm just getting my point across. I'm not a professional videographer or photographer, so it's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
So again, it's knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are, using that in a timely manner and doing it in a way that your audience really connects with. And that's what you do so well. I think you really connect with your audience.
Yeah.
Do you hear that out and about when you're speaking to people?
Yeah, I get a lot of, you know, people say, you know, oh, that video you shared the other day was really helpful, or, you know, I think people like seeing behind the scenes things because we're all nosy. We're all kind of, you know, if you're a lawyer, it would be very difficult to record behind the scenes things of meetings, you know, because you won't be able to do it. Whereas a photo shoot, it is quite intimate and it is private, and it's not a very, it's a vulnerable place to be in front of the camera, you know, particularly if you're not looking forward to doing that. But all my clients are quite happy for me to record those little bits. And actually, when I do sort of play bits back to them or send them bits to say, I'm going to share this, are you happy with me sharing this? And it might be a bit of conversation we've had in the session. You know, people are actually quite happy to share that because they think if that's going to help someone else feel as comfortable as I did when I was there, then that's worth me being on camera for, or that being out there. And that's a really nice kind of supportive environment. But I think that only comes from how my process is. Everything up to that point is about nurturing people to feel comfortable and be ready for that. You know, it's not like I've got you in and you're feeling good in front of the camera and now I'm going to take advantage and share on my socials about how great you're feeling because of me. It's not that, you know, the process started ages ago from when, you know, you first said you need some photos, but you know, the fear of God is put in you of having them done. You know, we start talking and breaking down those barriers from that point. So it's quite reflective in that sense, yeah.
Yeah. And do you find as well, like, so you do share a good amount of content consistently out to the world. Do you find as well that your content might not get as many sort of likes and views sometimes as you maybe want or would like in an ideal world, but then actually you find that when you're out and about, someone talks to you, they haven't even liked it, they hadn't even showed an interest, you thought that was white noise and tumbleweed, but then when you have the conversations in person, you're like, oh, you did see it, oh, people are seeing it. Do you find that as well?
Yeah, I feel like I've tried every strategy in the book of, you know, post daily at this time or find a certain time that works for your audience and all that stuff. And, you know, I now find that as long as the quality of the output is consistent, it doesn't really matter how regularly I am posting. If I happen to miss a week because I've just been flat out and I didn't get around to scheduling stuff or you know, sharing some posts, I found it doesn't affect my numbers necessarily. And exactly like you say, like my numbers are incredibly modest in terms of the amount of engagement I get. And, you know, I look at it and sometimes I can get frustrated going, why is this not getting better? Why is it not getting higher? But like you say, there will be people I bump into or people that message me or book a call that we've had no interaction beforehand. But it's because of the content they have been following and they have been seeing. Or perhaps someone might have tagged them in a post of mine or something that we then sort of come across each other. But yeah, it's interesting that, isn't it?
It is interesting because a lot of people are focused on, you know, the content, putting it out there, and they get brave and they put it on there and then it flops and they're like, oh no, it's not working. And then that disheartens them and puts them off. So the consistency just completely disappears and they go off grid for ages. But I think we underestimate the power of showing up, how visible we are without knowing we are.
Yes,
People might not like it, they might not love heart it, they might not share it, they might not comment on it, but people are seeing it. They're seeing it and they know it. And again, it opens those conversations, it opens those doors. And also like the culmination over it over time, someone might not be ready to work with us at that precise moment, but they've seen something over time consistently of yours. You make them feel comfortable, you make them feel relaxed, you show great work off to the world, you feel like a human that they'd get on with as well. And then suddenly they are calling to go, I need to work with you, Toby. I've got this project, I've got this thing. I need to come and see you. And I think we stopped doing those things that would lead to that phone call eventually, because the phone call didn't happen after the first post or after the second post. So we've got to have that, not perfect consistency, because I think you hit the nail on the head there, didn't you, as well? When we talk about consistency, it doesn't need to be every single day, all the time, but you're showing up more than you are away. No, like 2-month breaks, 3-month breaks. I'm back, everyone.
Yes, If I've ever had like a longer break, I do notice that affect the amount of conversations I might be having with people. It certainly is a trigger for people to open up a chat and message. But yeah, it's just about not being too stressed out about sustaining that, isn't it? It's got to be sustainable at the end of the day. Whatever level of content you're putting out for your personal brand, it's got to be on brand and it's got to be sustainable.
And just do it in a way that works for you and you can physically create it and get it out to the world as well. Like, stop stressing about the perfect. So while you were working on your new branding then, what was like the most surprising thing to you about the process of doing that?
I'd say, one of the most interesting things was going into this kind of rebrand. If you're creating a brand, the first thing you're going to go to is like your logo, isn't it? And your colours. And what was really interesting was being encouraged that was actually going to be the last part that slots into everything else, which, you know, I like I mentioned earlier, I had full trust in the process, and it's like, okay, let's do it. Because for me, it wasn't about the logo anyway. There were so many other challenges. It probably would be that I would have chosen something completely different as the logo, and we would have then gone down a different avenue that wouldn't have been the right messaging or wouldn't connect with the audience that we were trying to connect with. And I think that's just such a valuable thing to share, because a lot of people that start on their own, we're all wanting to do what's affordable at that time, which is to do things ourselves. So whether that is building a website like I did for many years, or creating a logo like I did for many years for myself. And it's important to know that actually the vital part is what you do and how you do it and how you communicate that. And logo really, like, it's the last thing you sort of think of, isn't it, when you think of a business that you're working with, certainly on a local service-based level anyway.
But like you say, once you've got that clarity of everything else, picking the logo then and stuff like that is a bit easier, because you know what you're trying to do, what you want to convey.
So for those of you who don't know, Headshot Toby's studio is based here in Spark House in Lincoln. They offer flexible office spaces, business mentoring, and even have virtual offices if you're not quite ready for a full-time desk. As a sole trader and a photographer with lots of equipment, it was really important that I found somewhere that had space for me that was affordable, so that I had plenty of room to grow my business in a way that was scalable.
and Sparkhouse may just be the perfect solution too for you. Get in touch today by emailing sparkhouse@lincoln.ac.uk, and you'll also find that email address in the show notes below.
The photo shoot. So you went on your own photo shoot.
Yes.
So I'm intrigued to see how you found being on the other side of the camera in a professional photo shoot as well. What was that like?
It's always interesting because I'm always like, yeah, okay, I see why you're doing that. Like, you know, so I went to my good friend, Nick Dawkes Photography. He's fantastic. He works a lot with actors and performers, and he's been a mentor to me over the years, and I've learnt a lot from him. Also grabbed a couple of freebies, equipment and bits he's throwing out. I'll take that. So I went down to visit him at his new studio, and yeah, you know, if he got on his knees on the floor and was on a low angle, I was kind of going, yeah, no, I can picture what this is going to look like. So I've got a benefit that my clients haven't. But it was really interesting to be on that side of the camera again, to go, okay, yeah, I understand how it feels now. Like if the photographer's, you know, down on the floor, like, I appreciate that feels even more vulnerable and strange and odd, or you know, I went through the same process of like, you know, I don't know what to do with my hands, or I don't know how should I sit, how should I, you know, and I guide people through this every day, you know. So it was really interesting to kind of go through that journey that everyone else does. Yeah,
You got access to your client's journey.
Yeah.
Really. So again, which can
is
inform
really
then.
valuable.
And can inform then more content as you
Yeah.
come back, because again, you're thinking like, oh gosh, I was really uncomfortable with that, and that.
Yeah.
Like we do, like even angles, like every woman out there will know when their partner comes out with their phone and the angle is down below, you're like screaming inside at them, no, move it up, because you're just thinking like, how many chins is this going to get on video? So again, when you're trusting somebody else and an actual photographer who can see something, so I've seen that shot, it's like actually quite a wide angle shot, isn't it? And you're not seeing chins, that it's a whole different, but your head's not thinking that on the other side. So it's just so interesting, isn't it? And what an experience to have. So that must have been really cool to go to like his studio and stuff and see his setup, and he was mentoring you. So he's a bit further along maybe in his journey than you are.
Yes.
Like, what was that like for like your own vision and stuff?
Yeah, it was really exciting. I was kind of going in there going, this is what I want to have one day. Yeah, it was definitely like that. And I mean, he's just a bit of a visionary as anyway. He's very good DIY. So like the different areas he's made in his studio, it's a huge space. So, you know, he's basically just created himself lots of different environments of which to photograph in one room, which is really cool. You know, that is the luxury, to be able to go, let's just move everything over here now and photograph you here, and then move some lights over here, which is, in the moment, I've kind of outgrown my space a bit in terms of I have to kind of ask the client to go stand in the corner, shift everything away so I can change my backgrounds and things. You know, it would be awesome to go, you know what, the aim now is to have a space where I can offer all these different things with ease, and you know, basically just keep improving on what that offering is. But it's also creative as well, isn't it? It's trying to creatively keep pushing myself, not just do the same things because that's what I can achieve in the space I'm in. It's trying to keep offering something.
Really, as a photographer, you have got the whole world as your space as well. So it's not confining yourself to your office or your studio. That's a great, actually, a space to store all of your equipment and to keep stuff. And actually, we've got a whole world out there, haven't we? And with branding nowadays and personal branding, like, you've got to showcase the real you of stuff. So actually, it might need to be on a location somewhere if it ties in with the messaging again that you're trying to get across with the world. So that must be quite exciting, and also has its challenges.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you know, every client has different needs, don't they? So like, they might be in different industries. They might have certain specific things that they need to share and show. So yeah, there's certainly a bulk of my work where I'm traveling to locations or finding places to kind of capture that.
So that's a wrap on season 3, episode 1 of the Brand New podcast. So make sure you follow along on the LinkedIn group, the Brand New LinkedIn group, where you can catch up on all the latest news and also ask us any personal branding questions that you have as well.
Here's to branding you.